Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. So glad you're here. And if you're new to my channel, then you know that I'm going to give you the disclaimer. I am running this channel to share everything British royals in reference, especially underline to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, as we know how crazy that whole thing is. And the full disclaimer will be in the description box. But of course, I surf the net with you. We get on our surfboards and we surf the net for everything that pertains to Meghan Markle. That kind of is current, but also I interject a lot of gossip, interest, views, and opinions that are my own, and, a little commentary. And hopefully you kind of relate to it or get it. And if you find some relevance to it all or some parody or fun to it, then please take a moment and subscribe. All right. And always comment. I'm here. I'm listening. I actually read the comments as much as possible. And I respond too. So, okay. And I really thank you for being here, especially with all this craziness going on in our world right now. So today I want to jump on here right quick and talk to you about the New York Post online giving this article called Meghan Markle Becomes Disney Star with New Elephant Trailer. Whoop. Here we thought she was going to be on Simpsons. She threw a curveball. Again, when we see these things in the media, they're telling us to look this way, but really there's always something else that they're deflecting to for you not to see or for you not to pay attention to. So I'm not sure if this will play, but it's a trailer, and in the art of education and sharing, we'll be able to look at this trailer for 2 seconds if we can listen to this stupid ad.
Streaming April 3rd on Disney Plus. Incredible families. Two unforgettable journeys. Dolphin Reef, narrated by Natalie Portman, transports us to an underwater wonderland where every creature works together in perfect balance to thrive in an unpredictable environment. Elephant, narrated by Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, follows one family's extraordinary 1,000-mile journey across Africa on an adventure that will change their lives. Two powerful stories that show just how far family can take you. As epic and inspiring as nature itself. Both movies streaming April 3rd. Only on Disney Plus.
Okay, so I have a couple of opinions on this, and I know you know I do. First thing is, so like I said, we all have been inundated with the whole Simpsons episode where the producers or the show itself wants Meghan to, has invited Meghan to voice over and, one of the characters. And we laugh and we enjoy that. We think it's funny because Simpson is it's a long running show, but it's not something that discerning adults per se would watch, at least knowingly return to watch over and over again. And so, we all laughed, those of us who are Meghan Markle critics and watchers and royalists, we kind of snickered at that. But now we see that was just a PR thing to have us look this way while the real stuff was going on to the other side. Now, Disney actually decided to do this with Meghan, which is kind of blows my mind in one sense, because here's why. we think of Disney as wholesome and cool and together, and it's been producing things for children for decades upon decades, right? So we kind of have Disney embedded in our brain, embedded in our brain. So we think that they wouldn't go with Meghan. But and we also thought that because it was so pimp-like of Prince Harry to suggest Meghan's available for voiceover work, and that she'd be that valuable to Disney supporters or Disney fans. Okay, so that was the one thing. And I'm most surprised because of that. But then I started to think about my thoughts on the whole Disney. And now that I see Meghan has been cast as a voiceover. And I want to say, by the way, along with Natalie Portman, who is she has an excellent history of being an actress and spokesperson. And to see her being thrown in there secondarily, and just slightly more emphasis being put on the elephants, which I love all animals. So traditionally I would watch this. And I may still, but the point I'm trying to make is that Meghan has injected herself. And now when I talked to you about Disney just a few minutes ago, and I said, most of us thought that Disney wasn't going to have it. Bob Iger stepped down. We thought that was punishment for him, being on the spot and saying, yeah, Meghan, we'll talk Meghan doing some type of voiceover work. And we thought that was put to bed. It was thrown in the trash. We laughed, we giggled. But yet Meghan actually did do the voiceover for this. And now we're going to be inundated with Meghan doing all kinds of goofy things just to keep herself relevant. And by the way, just to collect a check on the back of the royal family, some way, shape, or form. And so that makes those of us who criticize her strength of character, if you will, doing those type of things. Because we think that the Duchess of Sussex should earn a living somewhere else where we don't have to be inundated or expose our children to her. Now, that's another thing I'd like to say. That's another view. Number two is that we noticed that Meghan went into a school full of teenagers and interacted with the teenage boy and went into the school and tried to just be her, pushy self, kind of showing up and crashing the gates, and was allowed to do so, I guess, because she is the Duchess of Sussex while Prince Harry was elsewhere, and she went alone. Well, that is a way, if you think about it, it's a way, in my opinion, for her to reach out to the youth. They are the next generation. So she's already reached out to children in their teens who are sexually charged and who are in adolescence and who are also forward thinkers. So if they can be coerced into thinking that she's biracial and my God, she's in the royal family and oh my goodness, and this, that, and the other thing, they can be made to change their mind or influence their mind. And now, so she went into the younger kids, and then she went into this, adolescent group of kids. And now she's doing a documentary for those who are animal enthusiasts, wildlife enthusiasts, people who love documentaries and who think and who care about humanity. Again, she's attaching herself to humanitarian efforts because all of the proceeds of this movie will go into will go into Elephant Without Borders. And that was talked about months and months ago, Elephant Without Borders, when she did show up on the red carpet for Lion King UK, the premiere. So she has definitely got another thing she has wanted. And I think she just wanted, and again, this just for those of us who feel that Meghan, now I'm not totally against Meghan. Let me clear this up. I'm not totally against her. I'm not completely positive on every critical thing that anyone has ever said about her at all. What I am upset most about is the Europeanizing of her biracialness. So, they take her and they make her skin lighter with cosmetics and maybe even skin whiteners. I don't know. But the Meghan, if you look back, and I may do a video on this, that we have seen in the past is actually a few shades more her own natural color, and or the color that I think she is, because she often had her own kind of olive complexion showing. And even though she has freckles and everything, that has nothing. Lots of people have freckles, even people of color have freckles. Okay. And some people say they're just age spots. Okay. So I have an issue with her because of her allowing herself to be Europeanized, in other words, whitened or whited out to maybe feel more comfortable in her own skin and maybe make other people more comfortable in her skin. Okay. So if she lightens her skin up a few tones, people will be more accepting of her and maybe even less harsh, if you will. And I have issue, and that was evident when she went to Africa. And in Africa, she said she was, here as a mother, a wife, a friend, a woman of color, and a sister. And I thought, wow, she just tried to play up her black side. And I didn't appreciate that as a person of color, because it's like she can just use that and flip the switch anytime she wants. And I feel like, no, it's kind of a obscure place to be being biracial, because one minute you can say, hey, I feel more comfortable on this side, but yet the next day or the next month you can feel more comfortable, on this side. So, it's like biracial people are in a class all their own. And, otherwise you'll see biracial people like Meghan choosing one side of her to shine predominantly more often and downplay the other side of her heritage. And even though she's painfully aware of, that she has these two dynamics flowing through her, she still chooses only one view, so one side of it to put forward to the world. And it's clearly the side that she believes, and this is my opinion, that the world would accept more of. And so that's my issue with me. That's my main issue. And then of course I have some just being, a person, a consumer, a watcher of shows, and just someone that puts the TV on and watches certain movies, to see that she's not really that great of an actress. And the other thing is that seems apparent is she contradicts herself. So she's not a consistent character or persona. She kind of flip-flops around, and one minute she's really super kind looking and appears to be, kind and sweet hearted person, a passionate, sweet person. And then the next minute you see her being portrayed as she's totally ignorant and mistreats a lot of people, but then claims that she only likes to be around and represent good, decent people. So those are the few little things that I have. It's her persona, really. And so when I saw this, I was like, wow, Meghan actually got what she had hoped for. She got the role of voiceover work. Now understand, and let's be clear, everyone out there, for whatever reason you don't care for her, realize she left the royal family for whatever other reasons, additional reasons, but she left the royal family to go and do a voiceover work for Disney. And that benefits Elephants Without Borders. And that makes me wonder what her tie is to Elephant Without Borders. Because when we think about it, I think back to the photo of Prince Harry standing in front of an elephant, and cut off was the fact that the elephant's legs were tied and somebody was holding him, or something was holding the elephant still for the most part, and from behind him. So he was restrained. And so when you say you're doing this for Elephant Without Borders, I'm wondering what's in it for you, Meghan. That's my opinion. It's my freedom of speech. I'm based in the United States. I just don't make the correlation between being a humanitarian and doing voiceover work and being paid, being paid by the donation going to the organization that I love so much, which is fine. But why is it that we're reminded about Prince Harry being in front of an elephant tied at his legs if he is so humanitarian like? So one would think that the elephant is startled and frightened by some strange man standing in front of him if this is a truly wild animal. So you would think he would have to be sedated and or restrained. But this is what I see when I think of these articles that say Elephants Without Borders are a organization that is close to Prince Harry and Meghan's heart. A charity believed to be close to Meghan and Harry's heart. So when I see this, this is all I think about. And when I read this article, this is all I think about, that Prince Harry showed a photo and was called out about it because the part of the photo that was cut off was that the elephant was sedated and his front legs, and I'm not sure if any other legs, were restrained by somebody off camera view. And the photo went, on their Sussex page, I believe, and the whole world talked about it like, wow, Prince Harry's putting false images out that he's this humanitarian with this big African beast, and he cares for the habitat and animals that are in the wild, and it's always about Africa, right? But the animal was restrained and was sedated, and somebody let that out of the bag. And so that's all I think about when I see this. And I think, how can Disney, now I'm circling back now, people, how can Disney join up hands with Meghan Markle, especially with the tumultuous situation that's going on within the royals, and B, wondering why such a wholesome organization like Disney would want anything to be, to associate them with Meghan Markle in the status that she's in currently, being the so-called Duchess of Sussex for the last few weeks. I mean, she will be the Duchess of Sussex inevitably anyway, as long as she's married to Prince Harry. But the fact that Meghan's blatantly using that as a stepping stone, and that seems to be where it all lies at the heart of the matter is that Prince Harry was a stepping stone, much less about the love that she has for him, in my opinion, my humble opinion, but it's more about the status that she can just command and demand that she'd like to be part of something, when really we don't think Disney being wholesome and providing decades upon decades of animation and documentaries and movies and all this stuff on behalf of teenagers and kids and fun-loving fan adults, you would think that they would have a separation to a certain degree with Meghan Markle. Maybe not Prince Harry, but Meghan Markle, because you're not seeing this done with Prince Harry. You're seeing Prince Harry use his clout to gain access to better benefits to Meghan Markle. And that's kind of seemingly odd. So is it a payoff because Meghan helped Harry get out of his family or get out of the UK? Is that what the payoff is? One hand scratches the other, and that sounds like a contract to me, or an agreement. And although marriage is some type of contract and is some type of agreement, it just seems more business-like than mutual love or admiration or care. It's like Meghan came in, she could help Prince Harry get the hell out of the royal family, get out of it, get away from it, go do the wild thing, and then he, in turn, will use his status as a prince, a legitimate prince, to help Meghan make money or to put her name out into the world, and again, secure the next generation of younger people to look up to her, because we're not really sure with today's education if kids really are educated in what's really going on. And sometimes we should think maybe we shouldn't even want them to be this educated, because you have to dig very deep and you end up in the rabbit hole. So my thoughts on Disney is, we all know that we can look at Disney and see that Disney is involved in a lot of subliminal messaging, and even a lot of the images that they draw into their work has been pointed out plenty of times. I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to show it here. And it's disgusting. So then if you add that into your thought processes, like I did mine, I thought, well, of course Disney would want to be associated with Meghan Markle. When you do dirt, you get dirt. But unfortunately, in this type of persona, in this type of situation, we have to look beneath the surface. And you'll see that if you look into Disney's past, you can see quite a bit of animated images are not child proof or good for children. They're actually very sexual. And it would make sense given Meghan Markle's past when we look at her being so-called yacht girl and being in that type of scene and selling herself at, to the highest bidder, if you will, in terms of her acting. And even then, she got just only suits and maybe a few commercials and some small work, and she did some calligraphy. And you think, what does it all mean? Who is the bad guy? Who really is the bad guy? Is it society for lapping this up? Is it the people who look just at the surface and see a biracial princess, if you will, someone becoming biracial from America and changing all the British rules? Is it the British people or the monarchy who's, really doing the kind and decent thing, is not being racial, or who's wrong and who's right? It's so cloudy and so disturbing that it's hard to find the answers. So here's my last thought. For me, I love these documentaries. I love some of the things that Disney does in terms of the stuff that isn't clouded with a lot of sexual messaging into their work. But at the same time, like I like things like March of the Penguin, and I like I think I would like the dolphin and Disney, the dolphin and elephant documentaries. But what I don't like is the fact that, again, did you see that in the intro, Natalie Portman's portion about the dolphins was kind of downplayed. And then we get Meghan Markle, voicing overwork for the elephants in that movie to be kind of more regal and pumped up. And it's kind of backwoods. And I'm not surprised actually with Disney. And maybe that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the underbelly of society, no matter if they're royal or if it's Disney or if it's America or if it's whatever. It's more about the conspiracy of it all, the people, birds of a feather type of thing. When do dirt, they get dirt. And eventually this will all come back to haunt Meghan Markle, even though her agenda is to make sure that her name lives forward and lives onward, and that she's collecting checks, because it's evident that she's getting paid along with Harry from the Duchy of Cornwall. And as far as I'm concerned, then if you're not a working royal, then you should not be paid as such. And I wonder what Prince Harry would do if he had to make his own living just running businesses, or just, being a philanthropist, and we can clearly see that Prince Harry is putting Meghan first. He's taking a back seat and Meghan is coming forward and she's getting work, and it's amazing because it's all about Harry. It was on Harry's back. All right. So that's what I think of this. I think the Disney live stream on April 3rd should be interesting. I love elephants. I love all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be like bittersweet. But I really don't think Disney, and what do I know? Because like I said, I'm just gossip, just talking and sharing my opinion. But really, Disney should know that it's not where it's at. But here's what Disney does know, that children like Disney and trust Disney. And some parents do too. But, because it's all about giving me food, fun, balloons, and characters, and, making things easy for me. So Disney wins with some parents and definitely wins with some kids. So if you get the parents then you get the kids. And if you can get the kids, you get the parents. Think, how many people take their kids to Disney World or Land? How many? So there's a lot of good things that Disney does, but there's also some other corrupt things. And so I'm really not surprised that this ended up in Meghan's favor. I do believe the monarchy should get rid completely of Meghan inside their family, because I feel like she really did just she utilized her status as being married to Prince Harry to see things in her own life change so that she could feel better about what she's doing in her life. And so it's not totally bad if you look at it like that, but really what it's called is clout. She took the clout from Prince Harry in order to give herself some clout, and it still is going to take so long. But all right, I'm going to leave you with that, and we're going to get out of this. And I think that's all for today. This was longer than I wanted to go into it, but it's really amazing how you see like-minded people attracting like-minded people. Now, I love like Maleficent and these type of movies, and Disney owns all the Marvel chains. I think some of the Marvel chains they've bought them up. So you'll see that it'll be very hard for you to just write Disney off completely is what I'm getting at. But it's amazing how Meghan has been able to deflect us from looking at that silly Simpson stuff to really showing that she won Disney. But let's make it clear. We all remember Prince Harry pitching it on the red carpet premiere of Lion King in the UK, pitching it to Bob Iger, who then was the CEO, I believe, of Disney. And so there you have it. I think we're going to see a lot more of this type of thing. However, I do believe we're going to see even more failures on the side of Meghan. In other words, we're going to see a lot more contradictory stuff, I think, coming from the UK. And let's just be real. What's really interesting is she's also, with Prince Harry, looking at a Soho property. And so that's back in the UK. So you guys are going to land back in the UK anyway. Okay, people, let's get on this roller coaster with these people and see where it goes. Right now, I'm like bittersweet. It's like Meghan is going to be voicing over. It's like the last thing I want to hear is her voice. Not that it's bad, good, or indifferent. It's the premise and the principle behind the matter is what kind of gets me a little bit. But there you have it. Meghan has won another little thing that most people didn't think she was going to get because we were so busy looking the other way. All right, have a great night, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember to subscribe. That helps so much. Comment and like, and click the bell. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.